Hi everyone, Dr. Fink here. Today we'll talk about creatinine and how creatinine levels can be biased, especially in bodybuilders and athletes who work out a lot. Quick disclaimer, does not medical advice, this is entertainment only. So first, let's focus on what creatinine is. Creatinine is not the same as creatine, okay? Creatinine is a waste product of our muscles. So how do we produce creatinine? We have in our body stored creatine phosphate. And creatine phosphate is basically used to produce ATP, which is our main source of energy, adenosine triphosphate. A medium step in between is ADP, adenosine diphosphate. So in order to create ATP, triphosphate, we need to get one phosphate group. We get that phosphate group from creatine phosphate. We give it to ATP, and now we have two phosphates, we add one phosphate, and now we create ATP, adenosine triphosphate, and now we can use energy. For example, when we do bicep curl, we need to use ATP. We need to get the phosphate from creatine phosphate, give it to ADP, and now we have ATP. Now we can move our muscles. That's basically how it works. So once we gave the phosphate group to ADP to produce energy in our muscle, we have the remainder creatine. And this creatine now needs to be disposed of. And we will build creatinine. And creatinine will then be disposed of in our urine as a waste product. That's why creatinine is very much likely elevated in individuals who work out a lot, since we produce a lot of ATP from creatine phosphate. Creatine remains and is broken down into creatinine. That's why creatinine levels are usually elevated in bodybuilders and athletes. Physicians usually, when they treat normal individuals who don't work out a lot, when they see an elevated creatinine level, for them it points to a dysfunction or impaired function of the kidney, since the kidney filtrates the urine, and if there's accumulated creatinine, it means that the disposal of creatinine doesn't work well enough. That is in normal individuals who do not work out excessively. Okay, so if in those individuals creatinine is elevated, it indicates impaired function of the kidneys. But again, if you work out a lot, if you're a bodybuilder and athlete who goes to the gym almost every day, you break down a lot of creatine phosphate into creatine to produce ATP, and this creatine is broken down into creatinine, spiking up your creatinine levels. So this is not due to a kidney dysfunction in that case, but it is due to excess amounts of creatine production from working out. And this is not a condition you should worry about if it comes from the working out. Okay, so when you see your creatine levels come back and they're elevated, and if you're a bodybuilder or athlete who works out a lot, don't be worried too much. First, think it might be caused by your intense workouts, and it's always good to check it out with a physician to make sure that your kidney functions well. But in general, this is due to the intense workouts. I hope this video was helpful, and please let me know what you think in the comments down below. Thank you for watching.